Servus liebe Leute, ich bin's, der Moritz von Low Ready Media auf der IWA 2019 am Stand von UMAREX mit dem Christian. Christian, grüß dich.
Hi, grüß dich.
Christian, letztes Jahr waren es noch Container, heute komme ich hier hin, wir gucken uns um und ich fühle mich so ein bisschen wie auf Kritas für Erwachsene. Ich lese so Themen Action, Explore. Was ist das Konzept dahinter?
Genau, das ist ein neues Konzept.
Moin, ich habe gehört, die IWA findet doch statt.
Moin Moritz, wir haben auf dich gewartet. Hier ist dein Ticket von UMAREX und dein T-Shirt von UMAREX.
Alles klar.
Gute Geschäfte.
Vielen Dank. Chef.
Tschüss.
Und dann. UMAREX, the world's largest manufacturer of over-the-counter firearm replicas, took matters into their own hands and brought IWA 2021 back to Nuremberg exclusively for you. So come with me if you want to learn about all their new products and take a look at the biggest booth of the show. Let's go. Welcome to IWA 2021 exclusively by UMAREX here on UMAREX TV together with Armin. Armin, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are going to look into all the latest products of your defense segment.
Right.
And we are going to dive right in. You have the HDX here.
Right. It's top on point now on the HD series. It's the Home Defense Series Extreme, this time in caliber 68.
So it looks extreme. It's a shotgun, obviously. So tell me, what did you guys think when you designed this piece?
We wanted to have an extreme one. It is a little bit out of this. It's not a fully polymer body. Mm-hmm. It's more the heavy gun. It's a metal gun.
It is. It's solid.
It's solid, right? And we have this time we have 2 times 12 gram CO2 in a quick piercing system.
Why is that? Why did you choose two capsules?
Well, in 2 capsules we have more power. We can create more power, more velocity, more energy on the bullet.
And it actually comes with the established feature of the quick piercing system, and you are going to demonstrate it right now.
Yes, sure. The CO2 is in the stock. I just take off the stock, and here you have the tube. I just open it. I insert the first one with a small side in front, and the other one with the small side in the other way. Just fix it. And now the trick is, and all you guys know it from the other products in the HD series with quick piercing, the CO2 capsules are not yet pierced.
It is to avoid leaking CO2, right? So
Right.
if you, for example, if you load it with CO2, but then you pierce it and then you put it back into wherever and you store it, maybe then the one time it actually comes that you want to use it or you need it, the CO2 might be gone, or maybe there's just a little bit left in the tank, and that's not making sense at this point. So you guys developed a feature where you can actually store it in the gun, but also where you can have it pierced with a quick and handy move, and that's what you are going to show us right now.
Right, that's a fantastic point on this. The pressure is still inside and you can just pierce it when you need it. And I will show you this, how it works. I just put the stock on it, and now you think about how can I pierce it? Well, very simple. Here on the back side, you see this button, it came out 0.5 centimeter, and that's the point where I need to push with a light beat.
And before you do it, we're gonna see that this actually, so this is the the indicator
Yes.
that actually tells us whether the CO2 capsule is pierced or not. So right now we can see it's not pierced,
Right?
right? And now,
Maybe you beat?
shall I?
You should.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just punch it. I could also choose to stomp it on the ground or on something solid, but with this, just to demonstrate it, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
all right, now you can see it came out, it is red for an optical indication, but it comes out so I can feel it with my thumb. So if I were to be in a self-defense scenario or in a scenario where it's really dark and I cannot make it out with my bare eye, then I can just move my thumb above it and then I feel it, all right, the CO2 capsule is ready to go.
Right. It's pierced and you can depend on it. And now the feature of loading.
All right.
Okay. First, maybe as we say, it's a pump gun. Yes. You make like this for cocking the gun. Now it is cocked. I need to fire it one time because I cannot cock it another time. So please don't be surprised on it. So
It is. I'm just jumping in. It's because you guys are doing IWA all by yourself. This means we are in this huge hall, but we're the only booth. So there is actually a hall, which makes it even louder than it already is.
yes, that's the point. So we open the loading chamber, and you can see here it's an orange forwarder. Yeah, and you know, if you see the orange forwarder, you know the magazine is empty. To fill it up, it's very easy. Here we have a hidden loading tool. It's inserted here. And
Now I hand you the ball.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And now I can insert the balls one after the other until the 16 balls are all in the magazine tube.
So you say it's 16.
16. We need to say we have different energy levels for this, for the different markets where which has different laws, with different gun laws. For example, for Germany, we have the 7.5 joules.
That's on the lower level.
That's on the lower level. We have the 16 joules
For markets like Austria, for example.
for Austria, for example, for Poland and other countries in Europe. And we have the top of the line, it is 40 joules, but the 40 joule has a 88-gram capsule in the stock. The 88-gram capsule cannot be pierced by an emergency system because
All right.
it is screwed, and once you pierce it, the system is under pressure. But if you want to shoot it with a quick piercing systems, you can get the optional 2x 12-gram quick piercing tube to install it. But of course, with a 2x 12-gram, you cannot reach the 40 joules. For
You're
the
not
40
going to get the energy of it, right?
because the 40 joule is only be available with the big 88-gram capsule.
So, I mean, do you mind me handling one more time?
Sure.
All right, because maybe we're going to show it right now is what actually happened is that you guys invited me to shoot this at your company in Germany, and I actually very much enjoyed it. And I even said, even for people who do not think of using this non-lethal system in a home defense scenario, that it is still very, very relevant and fun to shoot, for example, for plinking. Right. So if I look at it and I want to give it more, once more a rundown. So we have this rail on top, which means that if I already own a firearm, for example, a rifle, and I can change out the sights, maybe different backup iron sights that I already have, or a red dot. I can see that if I have an attachment that, for example, that fits an M-lock system, all right, then it's also covered here. We can see there's a rail on the bottom of the handguard, and we can see, let me see, yes, exactly, here, there's a swivel swing already, and it's ambidextrous. As you can see, it is on both sides. And one more thing that actually caught my eye was, and I'm going to turn it around, look at this massive muzzle brake. And it actually, you cannot feel it, but let me tell you, it feels as aggressive as it looks. And it's also made of metal, right?
Yes.
That is not polymer.
Right.
All right. Guys, the HDX, HD stands for home defense,
Right.
X stands for extreme, which this solid piece of shotgun truly is the HDX by UMAREX. If you happen to own an HDR revolver already, you might be interested in what's coming up next.
Right. We have the HDR 50 here. Looks very normal like always. We have a new emergency clip. It is preloaded with rubber and with pepper balls, and it has a paper which is pre-perforated paper to avoid any contact with the pepper ball, and also to get lost of the balls if you have this on your pocket.
So this is obviously a spare magazine that prevents the loaded ammunition from falling out.
Right, right. That's very simple. And like I said, it's pre-loaded. And of course, if it's empty, if you shot all, you can use it as a normal spare magazine.
So, all right, so you can use it again, but you said it comes pre-loaded, and you said it's loaded with rubber and pepper balls.
Right,
So, and what I think is there's a spacing between each of them, right?
right. It's always pepper, rubber, pepper, rubber, pepper, rubber.
But if you don't own an HDR already, Armin is going to show you how easily you can put the magazine back into the gun.
Right. So here is the star. It's just inserted like this, and then you release this pin and it's loaded.
I mean, for those who are not accustomed to the HDR, please, would you mind explaining the launcher a little quick?
Ah, yes, sorry. It is the mounted launcher. It is mounted on the lower Picatinny rail, and you just push it on like this. It is for pepper spray and pepper gel. This time it is the training capsule.
Which is water, I believe, right?
Which is water, right?
Which is water.
And you can spray to up to 3 to 4 meters.
So if I, for example, I'm in a self-defense scenario, I ran out of bullets, my adrenaline is high up, maybe I didn't hit the target right away, I still have this as a backup option.
Right, right.
Emergency spare magazines for the HDR by UMAREX. HDR stands for Home Defense Revolver.
Right, in caliber 50.
Caliber 50. I mean, while we're talking about home defense within the home defense segment of UMAREX, for the HDP, you guys are getting good responses from the paintball segment as well. And they came up to UMAREX and wanted something very specific.
Yeah, that's very funny. And the same for the HDR 50. In the past, many paintballers asked us for a holster, and the same for the HDP 50. We were asked for the holster, and here we have it. It's the holster for the HDP 50. Same function like for the HDR 50. We have
you have the press release.
We have
right
the press release. We have the lock, and so you cannot lose it. But if you need it, you just put it out, and there you have it.
I mean, why are paintball gamers or paintball players, why are they into your home defense guns?
I think it's because you can use it very good for a backup gun.
All right.
Because it's much smaller than the normal paintball gun, and you can have it pierced or unpierced in the holster. If you need it, you just beat on the button screw and it is pierced, and you can shoot.
It's your quick piercing system. So you're saying they use it as a backup gun because it's much more compact than paintball guns in general.
Right.
All right. So let me give this to you. We see that this part that goes around your belt, you've actually put in something very handy. This is to address the different width of the belt, so you can use it. You can go all the way from a normal size belt right down to here to a tactical belt.
And you also see the screws. You can mount the screws on different areas to have the holster lower or higher.
That's also really nice because when it comes to holsters, people tend to have very specific habits on how they want their gun. Some people prefer to have it high up, some people prefer to have it a little lower. It also depends where you put the holster on the body, whether it's on a 3 o'clock position, on a 4 o'clock position. So this can be all adjusted to fit the individual needs of the person who is going to carry the holster.
Right.
Right, so now you know, if you happen to own an HDP or you plan on buying one, you might also think about getting the according holster.
Right.
And now we are going to present a product that's going to put a smile on the community of blank firing guns. We're talking about the new Walther P99 SV.
Right. And the SV stands for steel slide, in German Stahlverschluss.
Stahlverschluss.
It is a whole steel CNC cut with
Steel bolt face, I believe.
steel bolt face, thank you, that's right. We have a reinforced trigger, we have a steel inlay in the hammer, and we also have hardened steel magazine housings.
Would you mind me handling it?
Sure.
Not many people seem to know it, but there's actually a big community of fans for blank firing guns, and those fans specifically asked throughout the last years, I believe, for a manufacturer actually to tackle steel slides
Right.
for once, and also it is funny, or it is, of course you did it on purpose, the P99 is one of the most famous carry guns within the blank firing segment, and it's because once you rack the slide, you can decock it.
Right.
And it means you can actually carry on, not on an empty chamber, but on a loaded chamber, but without the trigger mechanism to be already cocked. So you can rack the slide, you can get around in there, and then you can decock it. And once you have to pull it, you can shoot it directly, but on a heavy double action trigger. And
Yes.
this is what makes the P99 one of the most famous carry guns within the blank firing segment.
Yes. You know, it was created as a police pistol, and the decocking function was one of the options. They said, we need this, and so it's on the blank firing pistol too.
I mean, thanks for presenting the Walther P99 SV steel slide, or Stahlverschluss, as we used to say in German, something the blank firing community has been longing for so long, and now you guys actually delivered. And with all the different calibers throughout the different platforms that you guys have accumulated over the years, let's now talk about what you've guys been cooking up when it comes to non-lethal ammo.
Yes. We have some new ammunition or upgrades. You maybe know our power balls in caliber 43 already. It's a heavy rubber. It is very precise. It's made in Germany, and they have bigger brothers. We now have them in caliber 50 and caliber 68.
All right.
One more feature is, of course, if you have the heavy bullet, the heavy one is very special for high energy home defense guns. They are better in ballistics, especially if you have more than, I would say, 10 joule, 16 joule, 40 joules. The ballistic of the Powerball is very interesting.
Because it's heavier.
Right. So here, for example, we have the chalk ball. It is not only in white color, it is also in blue color.
To differentiate between friend and foe, right?
Very good.
And we have
Right.
something prepared. If you wonder what this might look, it actually does look like this. Never mind the grouping, it's still not too bad. So this is what the blue chalk color would look like if you were to be hit.
Next up, we have the paintball. Like I said, the paintball in the past had only the green color, and we also added a blue color for the liquid paintball. And this looks like this. It's a better grouping, doesn't matter, but you see the sparkles of the blue color if you get hit.
It is actually a better grouping because I learned that everything that you can cover with the fist is actually a good grouping.
Next one is a ball made of polymer. It's a poly ball, and we have it same like the both color balls I showed you in the caliber 43, caliber 50 and caliber 68. It's for plinking. It's hard, but it's not too hard for the barrels.
Does it ricochet though? Because
Yeah, you need to be
you have to pay attention to this, right?
Right.
But you said they're not as hard as they run the risk of damaging the barrel, for example.
Yes, right.
Polyballs.
Next we have is our tracer ball. It is a rubber ball and it is fluorescent. So you can charge it by light or by UV light, by a flashlight, for example,
But it also charges with daylight, right?
and for daylight too. And you see it flying in the dark.
So if you decide to go plinking in the dark, you now have glowing options which you have to, or which you can load with a flashlight or UV light, but which also will be lit just by getting charged by the sun.
Right.
I mean, I was wondering if I was to use them, or if I was, for example, to use them in a paintball game or so, then people tend to be interested in higher numbers, in bigger charges, because they don't only buy them by the hundreds or by the 50s, and you guys actually came up with a bigger amount and bigger charges, right?
Yes, that's right. For the rubber balls, for the practice ball, if anybody will do more practice, we have many requests from the market asking for a bigger amount of rubber balls for the practice. And we have this. We have cartons with 16 kilogram, and they are in the caliber 43, caliber 50, and caliber 68.
And you just took a lot of them and you put them in a charge till they have the weight of 16 kilos? Or
not so easy,
what?
no.
Okay.
We have them each in 2,000 piece in a poly bag. So
still.
you get 43, in caliber 43, you get 20,000 rubber balls in caliber 43, packed in poly balls by 2,000 each.
Oh, all right.
We have 12,000 caliber 50 rubber balls, and we have 6,000 caliber 68 rubber balls in this box.
So now we covered everything that is round, but actually you still got more.
Right. For the paintballs, we have now new in color blue. We also have the precision balls. They are in the tube of 10, and the round looks like this. They are filled with liquid color, blue, and they have very interesting ballistic features. The purpose is, in a distance more than 10 meters, you have a much better grouping with this in comparison with a round ball.
So all of you shotgunners, you can see, because you know the system already, it is very similar to something that's called a slug within the world of shotgun users. We're talking, of course, about the system that sits underneath the actual bullet, which actually stabilizes it while flying through the air.
Right.
So there you have it. Whatever your needs are, whether you need ammunition that glows, that is made of rubber, that has different colors, whether it's chalk or paint, UMAREX got you covered. Even if buying them by the hundreds is not interesting to you, if you are interested to buy them by the kilos, for example 16, UMAREX got you covered.